My child, I am here, and I am watching you right now. Not from far away, not distracted, not unaware. I see you exactly where you are in this moment, with everything you are carrying inside. Can we talk for a moment? Please do not skip this. Your heart did not stop here by accident. You did not pause because you were bored. You stopped because something inside you needs this conversation, even if you have not been able to explain why. I know you feel empty. Even though you try so hard to stay strong, you wake up and do what you need to do. You show up. You smile when required. You hold yourself together when no one is watching. But inside there is a quiet, hollow place that does not seem to fill no matter how much you give, how much you achieve, or how much you endure. I see that emptiness clearly. And listen to me carefully now. I am not disappointed in you. I am not tired of you. I am proud of you. Stop for a moment. Just stop. I would not interrupt your life like this unless it mattered deeply. I do not break into moments without purpose. Something is going to happen tonight, and your life is about to change in a way that does not shout but settles, in a way that does not overwhelm but restores. This is not excitement. This is alignment. Have been holding so much inside for so long. You learned how to survive without complaining. You learned how to carry weight quietly. You learned how to keep going even when you were tired of being strong. And you do not understand why the emptiness keeps returning no matter how hard you try to fix it. Let me tell you why. Because you deserve to know. My child, do not look away now. Do not let distractions steal this moment. I am closer than you think. I have always been closer than you realized. I want to speak into the places you have never shown anyone. The places where you stopped explaining because no one truly understood. The places where you told yourself to move on, even though something inside you was still hurting. I see those places and I am not afraid of them. I am proud of you for surviving what almost broke you. Proud of you for not becoming bitter when life disappointed you. Proud of you for still caring when it would have been easier to shut down. Proud of you for still listening even when you felt numb. Tonight, I am going to fill what has felt empty for so long. Not with noise, not with pressure, but with peace that stays. You may wonder why this feels so personal, why these words feel like they are reaching directly into you. It is because they are. This message is not for everyone. It is for you. I know what you have been through. I know what you have lost. I know what you still hope for but are afraid to name out loud. I know the exhaustion that sits beneath your strength. Stay with me now. This message is not random, and this moment is not small. What begins tonight will shift your life, not by changing everything around you at once, but by changing what is happening inside you. And when the inside changes, the rest always follows. You are not weak for feeling empty. Emptiness is not failure. Emptiness is often the result of giving too much of yourself without being replenished. You poured up because you had to. You showed up because others needed you. You endured because stopping felt impossible. But endurance without rest drains the soul. I see how long you have been carrying without being held. I am here now because I will not let you continue carrying this alone. I am watching because I care. I am speaking because silence would leave you believing something is wrong with you when there is not. You are not broken. You are tired. You are not lost. You are worn. And weariness needs restoration, not judgment. Type Amen. I'll wait with hope. If you believe delay is not denial, tonight matters. Not because of fireworks or spectacle, but because of what will begin to shift quietly. Your mind will breathe again. Your heart will feel less heavy. Your spirit will sense that it is not alone anymore. This is not imagination. This is not emotion alone. This is me meeting you where you are. Do not rush this moment. Do not skim it. Let it reach you fully. You have spent too long rushing past your own needs, minimizing your pain, telling yourself others have it worse. I am telling you now that your pain matters to me. Your emptiness matters to me. You matter to me. You may not know exactly what will happen tonight, but you do not need to. You only need to stay open, stay present, stay willing to let me speak honestly to you. I am not here to overwhelm you. I am here to restore you. I am proud of you, not for what you achieve, but for what you endured, not for what others saw, but for what you carried silently. That pride is not casual, is deep, and it is why I am speaking to you now. Stay with me. Do not look away. What begins tonight is real, and it is for you. My child, I am here with you right now. I am not watching from a distance, and I am not passing by quickly. I am present, fully aware, fully attentive, and completely focused on you. You do not need to prepare yourself for this conversation. You do not need to explain anything or fix anything first. You do not need to find the right words. I already know your heart, and I have come close on purpose. Can we talk for a moment? Just you and me. This is not a crowded place. This is not a loud space. This is a quiet meeting where you are safe to breathe, safe to feel, and safe to be honest. I have not come to question you or correct you harshly. I have come to sit with you, to look at you with love, and to let you know that you are not alone in this moment. You are not being rushed. You are not being judged. You are being met. I see how tired you are beneath the strength you show. I see how carefully you carry yourself so others will not worry. I see how you keep going, even when your heart feels heavy. You may feel unseen by many, but you are not unseen by me. I am watching you with care, not with disappointment. I am watching you because you matter deeply to me. This conversation is private. It is sacred. It is not meant for anyone else to interrupt. What I want to say to you is personal, because your journey is personal. Your questions are personal. Your emptiness, your endurance, your quiet hope, none of these are generic. They belong to you. And that is why I am speaking to you in this way at this time. You do not need to be afraid of my closeness. I know closeness has not always been safe for you. You have learned to protect yourself, to stay guarded, to keep certain parts of your heart hidden, but you do not need armor here. I am gentle with what you carry. I will not push you faster than you can walk. I will not demand more than you can give. I am here to hold space for you, not to overwhelm you. I know you may be wondering why I am speaking now, why this feels so direct, so personal, so close. It is because I know you are ready to listen even if you feel tired. Readiness does not always look like confidence. Sometimes it looks like weariness that has run out of other answers. Sometimes it looks like a heart that has tried everything else and is finally willing to rest. I am watching the way your thoughts move. I see how quickly you analyze, how easily you question yourself, how often you wonder if you are doing enough. Let those thoughts down for a moment. You do not need to solve your life in this conversation. You do not need to figure out tomorrow. Right now, you only need to be here with me. This is not a performance. You do not have to be strong for me. You do not have to hide your doubts or polish your faith. I know the version of you that feels brave, and I know the variant of you that feels uncertain. I love both. You are allowed to be fully yourself here. I'm closer than you think, closer than the worries circling your mind, closer than the fears that whisper at night, closer than the emptiness you feel when things grow quiet. My presence is not something you have to earn. I am here because I choose to be with you. Please support our channel. Our work is dedicated to bringing happiness into your life and helping you grow in devotion to God. If you would like to support us, you can donate through Super Thanks. I see the moments you felt alone, even in a room full of people. I see the times you wished someone would notice how much effort it takes just to keep going. I see how often you minimize your own pain because you do not want to be a burden. You are not a burden to me. You never have been. Let your shoulders relax a little. You have been holding tension for so long that it feels normal to you now. You have learned how to function while carrying weight. But functioning is not the same as resting. This moment is an invitation to rest in my presence without having to explain yourself. I know you are used to conversations where you have to prove your point or defend your feelings. This is not that kind of conversation. You do not need to convince me of anything. I already understand. I already know what you have been through. Even the parts you struggle to put into words. You may feel exposed right now, as if I am seeing parts of you that you usually keep hidden. That is okay. You are safe here. I do not expose to shame. I see to heal. I notice to restore. My attention is not a threat. It is a gift. I am watching you with patience. I am not counting how long it takes you to open up. I am not measuring your progress. I am simply present. Presence is not rushed. Presence waits. Presence listens. Presence stays. This conversation is meant only for you because you need to hear that. You are not alone in your thoughts. You need to know that the things you carry silently are known. You need to feel that someone is with you in a way that does not demand anything in return. I am that someone. I know you sometimes wonder if I am disappointed in you for feeling the way you do. Hear me clearly now. I am not disappointed. I am compassionate. I am proud of the way you have kept going even when things felt empty. I am proud of the way you have not given up on life, even when you did not know what you were moving toward. I am watching you because I care where you are headed, not just where you have been. I am watching because I want to guide you gently, not push you harshly. I am watching because I want you to know that your life is not unnoticed, not insignificant, and not forgotten. This is a place where you can be honest without fear of consequences. You can admit you are tired. You can admit you feel empty. You can admit you do not have all the answers. None of those things push me away. They draw me closer. I want you to feel how calm this moment can be. Not exciting, not dramatic, just calm and steady. The kind of calm that lets your heart breathe again. The kind of calm that reminds you that you do not have to carry everything by yourself. You are not interrupting me by being here. You are not asking for too much. I invited you into this moment because I wanted to talk with you. I wanted to remind you that you are seen and valued exactly as you are. Stay with me a little longer. Let the noise fade. Let the pressure ease. Let yourself feel what it is like to be watched with love instead of expectation. This is not the end of our conversation. It is the beginning of something gentler, deeper, and more honest. I am here. I am watching, and I am not going anywhere. My child, the emptiness you feel inside is not a sign that something is wrong with you. It is not failure. It is not weakness. It is not a lack of faith. It is the quiet result of a soul that has been carrying more than it was meant to carry for too long. You have been strong longer than you were meant to be strong alone. And strength without rest slowly turns into emptiness. You feel empty because you have been giving more than you have been receiving. You poured yourself into people, into responsibilities, into expectations, into survival. You kept showing up even when you were tired. You kept caring even when you felt unseen. You kept moving even when your heart needed a pause. Over time, that kind of giving drains the deepest places inside you. Not all at once, but slowly, quietly, until one day you realize something feels hollow and you do not know when it started. This emptiness is not because you stopped believing. It is because you kept believing while carrying too much. You trusted, you hoped, you endured. And endurance, when it lasts too long without relief, exhausts the soul. You survived season after season without fully being restored in between. Survival kept you going, but it did not refill you. You feel empty because you learned how to carry burdens silently. You did not want to worry others. You did not want to complain. You did not want to appear weak. And while gratitude is good, silence about pain still costs something. The cost was not immediate, but it was real. You feel empty because you became the strong one, the reliable one, the one others leaned on. And when you are always the one holding things together, you rarely get held yourself. You learn to function without support, to manage without rest, to cope without comfort. That skill kept you alive, but it also left you depleted. You feel empty because you have been emotionally burned out. Burnout is not loud. It does not always come with collapse. Often it comes with numbness. You still do what needs to be done, but joy feels distant. Motivation fades. Things that once mattered feel noticeably lighter, were heavier, in ways you cannot explain. That is not apathy. That is exhaustion. You feel empty because you have been surviving for a long time. Survival mode narrows the heart. It focuses on getting through the day, the week, the next responsibility. Survival does not ask how you feel. It asks what needs to be done. And when survival lasts too long, it forgets how to feel deeply, how to hope freely, how to rest without guilt. You feel empty because disappointment took more from you than you admitted. You expected certain things to work out. You trust in certain people. You believed certain doors would open. When they did not, you adjusted. You told yourself to move on. You told yourself to be realistic. But each disappointment took a small piece of energy, a small piece of trust, a small piece of hope. Over time, those pieces add up. Say, Amen. You lifted me higher. If His love has raised you when you were low, you feel empty because you have been patient longer than you thought you could be. Waiting is not passive. Waiting requires strength. Waiting requires restraint. Waiting requires hope that does not yet see. You waited faithfully, but waiting without clarity wears the heart thin. It stretches you. It asks more of you than others see. You feel empty because you have been trying to be okay when you were not. Not because you were lying, but because you did not know what else to do. You told yourself it would pass. You told yourself you just needed to push a little longer. And you did push. You pushed through fatigue, through confusion, through quiet sadness. That pushing kept you functioning, but it also drained you. This emptiness does not mean you are empty of purpose. It means you are empty of reserves. It means you have been running on what you had left, instead of what you were meant to receive. There is a difference. One leads to survival. The other leads to life. You may have wondered why prayer felt different, why words came slower, why passion faded. That was not because I moved away. It was because you were tired. Tired hearts pray differently. They pray quietly. They pray with sighs. They pray with silence. I heard those prayers too. You may have felt guilty for feeling empty. You may have told yourself you should be grateful, strong, joyful. Hear me clearly now. Emptiness is not ingratitude. It is a signal. Is your soul telling you it needs care, rest, and replenishment? Not correction. You did not become empty because you lacked discipline. You became empty because you cared deeply and gave consistently. That kind of giving is beautiful, but it must be met with renewal. Without renewal, even love grows tired. I see how long you have been holding yourself together. I see how often you put your own needs last. I see how you learned to keep moving, even when your heart felt heavy. That is not weakness, that is endurance. But endurance without restoration always leads to emptiness. You feel empty because you have been strong for everyone else, and quiet about your own needs. You learned how to be dependable, but you forgot how to be replenished. That forgetting was not intentional. It was learned through necessity. I want you to know this clearly. Your emptiness is not something to be ashamed of. It is something to be understood. It tells the story of a heart that has been giving, caring, waiting, and enduring longer than it should have alone. You do not need to fix this emptiness by trying harder. You do not need to fill it with noise, distractions, or achievements. Emptiness does not need to be filled with more effort. It needs to be met with rest and truth. I am not pointing this out to burden you. I am revealing it to free you. When you understand why you feel empty, you stop blaming yourself. When you stop blaming yourself, healing can begin. You are not failing at life. You are exhausted from carrying it without being fully replenished. You are not distant from me. You are tired, and tired hearts need gentleness, not pressure. I am not disappointed in your emptiness. I am moved by it. It tells me how much you have been holding, how long you have been standing, how deeply you have cared. I am here now, because you do not have to carry this alone anymore. You do not need to pretend with me. You do not need to explain why you feel the way you feel. I already know. I have been watching the slow drain. I have been waiting for the moment when you were ready to stop pushing and start resting. This emptiness is not the end of you. It is the point where restoration begins. It is the place where I meet you not with disappointment, but with compassion. You are not empty because you are lacking. You are empty because you have been giving. And what has been given can be restored. Stay with me here. Do not rush past this understanding. You are not broken. You are tired. And tired souls do not need to be fixed. They need to be filled. I'm here to do that gently, patiently, and completely. My child, I want to show you how this emptiness formed. Not so you will feel ashamed of it, but so you will finally understand it. You did not wake up one day subtly empty. This did not happen because you failed or because something inside you broke. It happened slowly. Over time, through moments, you survived rather than healed. Through expectations you carried quietly, and through pain you learned to live with instead of being freed from. The emptiness began when life asked more of you than you were ready to give, and you gave it anyway. You were stretched before you felt strong. You were tested before you felt steady. You were required to adapt before you felt safe, and you adapted. You did what you had to do. You learned quickly how to keep moving when stopping felt dangerous. That learning kept you alive, but it also taught your heart to set itself aside. Pain was one of the first builders of this emptiness. Not one single moment, but many small ones, layered together. Disappointments that seemed manageable on their own. Words that hurt, but were never addressed. Situations that did not turn out the way you hoped, but you told yourself to be mature about it. Each time you adjusted, each time you absorbed the impact instead of releasing it. Pain that is absorbed instead of processed does not disappear. It settles. You were disappointed by outcomes you prayed for and believe in. You trusted timing. You trusted people. You trusted that effort would lead to clarity. When those things did not happen the way you expected, you did not collapse. You recalibrated. You lowered expectations. You told yourself not to hope too much next time. That felt wise. I felt safe. But every lowered expectation took a little more color out of your inner world. I met expectations did not just affect what you hoped for. They affected how you saw yourself. You began to wonder if you were asking for too much, wanting too much, believing too boldly. Instead of questioning the season, you questioned your own heart. You became careful with hope. You rationed desire. You learned how to want less so disappointment would hurt less. That self-protection made sense, but it slowly emptied you. Survival played a large role in shaping this emptiness. There were seasons when survival was necessary. You had to focus on getting through the day, the responsibility, the pressure. Survival mode is narrow by design. It keeps you moving forward but does not stop to nourish the soul. When survival lasts too long, the heart forgets how to receive. You were surviving when you should have been supported. You learned how to be strong before. You learned how to be safe. You learned how to manage before. You learned how to rest. You learned how to cope before. You learned how to heal. Those lessons were not your fault. They were learned in environments where vulnerability did not feel possible, where stopping felt like falling apart. So, you stayed upright. You stayed functional. You stayed reliable. And you paid for it with your reserves. Each time you chose strength over honesty, a small part of you grew tired. Each time you told yourself to push through instead of pause, something inside you was delayed. Each time you said, "I'm fine," when you were not. You postponed care. You were not lying. You were surviving. But survival always comes at a cost if it becomes permanent. You also carried disappointment that you never named as grief. Things did not just fail to happen. It is evidence that you endured. Weak hides quit early. Cow hearts hardened quickly. But you stayed open. You kept caring. You kept showing up. An openness without replenishment leads to depletion, not failure. You were strong when you should have been supported. You were patient when you should have been comforted. You were understanding when you should have been protected. Those choices did not come from weakness. They came from strength. But strength used without rest always drains the soul. You may have felt ashamed of this emptiness, as if it meant you were ungrateful or spiritually lacking. A shame has not come from me. I do not look at your emptiness and see failure. I see the shape of what you have carried. I see the outline of responsibilities, disappointments, and long seasons of endurance. I see how much you poured out without being poured into. There were times you were excited about life, about possibilities, about what could be. Over time, that excitement softened into caution. You stopped expecting joy to last. You prepared yourself for loss, even before it arrived. That preparedness kept you from being blindsided, but it also kept you from being fully alive. You learned how to brace instead of hope. You may have told yourself that this numbness was maturity, and feeling less meant being wise. But numbness is not wisdom. It is a signal that something precious has been stretched too thin. Wisdom does not close the heart. Wisdom knows when to rest it. I want to remove shame from this completely. You did not fail because you feel empty. You are empty because you were faithful in hard seasons. You kept going when quitting would have been easier. You stayed kind when bitterness would have been understandable. You remained responsible when letting go would have felt relieving. That is not failure. That is costly strength. Your emptiness formed because you did not abandon your responsibilities. You did not abandon your values. You did not abandon life when it disappointed you. You adapted. You endured. You survived. And now your soul is asking for something different. It is asking to be restored, not pushed harder. This emptiness is not a dead end. It is a signal flare. It is your inner world saying that what sustained you before is no longer enough. He is calling for replenishment, for truth, for gentleness. He is not accusing you. He is inviting you. I want you to stop seeing this emptiness as a flaw. See it as evidence of a long journey. See it as proof that you have been strong for a long time. See it as a sign that you have reached this place where strength must be met with care. Nothing about this disqualifies you. Nothing about this disappoints me. I am not stepping in now because you failed. I am stepping in because you endured long enough. I am stepping in because you do not have to survive this next season the way you survived the last one. You do not need to apologize for feeling empty. You do not need to hide it. You do not need to rush past it. This emptiness is not something to be punished. It is something to be understood and healed. You were strong when it was necessary. Now you are allowed to be restored. You were resilient when it was required. Now you are allowed to be filled. The emptiness formed because you gave and gave and gave. And what has been given can be returned. Let this understanding lift the shame you have been carrying. You are not behind. You are not broken. You are not failing at life. You are tired from carrying life for too long without rest. I am here now to change that. Not by demanding more from you, but by giving to you what has been missing. This emptiness does not define you. It marks the moment when endurance gives way to restoration. Stay with me here. Let this truth settle gently. You do not need to defend yourself. You do not need to prove anything. You have been strong enough. Now let yourself be filled. My child, I want to honor you now. Not in a loud way, not in a way that puts you on display, but in a deep and steady way that reaches the places where you have wondered if anyone truly noticed. I have seen your endurance. I have watched you keep going when stopping would have felt easier. I have noticed every unseen effort, every quiet decision to stand again, every moment when you chose strength even though no one applauded you for it. There were days when your endurance looked ordinary from the outside. You woke up, you showed up, Sud, you handled what needed to be handled. Others may have thought it was nothing special. They did not see the effort it took just to begin the day. They did not feel the weight you carried in your chest or the tiredness behind your eyes. But I saw it all. It is evidence that you endured. Weak hides quit early. Cow hearts hardened quickly. But you stayed open. You kept caring. You kept showing up. An openness without replenishment leads to depletion, not failure. You were strong when you should have been supported. You were patient when you should have been comforted. You were understanding when you should have been protected. Those choices did not come from weakness. They came from strength. But strength used without rest always drains the soul. You may have felt ashamed of this emptiness, as if it meant you were ungrateful or spiritually lacking. A shame has not come from me. I do not look at your emptiness and see failure. I see the shape of what you have carried. I see the outline of responsibilities, disappointments, and long seasons of endurance. I see how much you poured out without being poured into. There were times you were excited about life, about possibilities, about what could be. Over time, that excitement softened into caution. You stopped expecting joy to last. You prepared yourself for loss, even before it arrived. That preparedness kept you from being blindsided, but it also kept you from being fully alive. You learned how to brace instead of hope. You may have told yourself that this numbness was maturity, and feeling less meant being wise. But numbness is not wisdom. It is a signal that something precious has been stretched too thin. Wisdom does not close the heart. Wisdom knows when to rest it. I want to remove shame from this completely. You did not fail because you feel empty. You are empty because you were faithful in hard seasons. You kept going when quitting would have been easier. You stayed kind when bitterness would have been understandable. You remained responsible when letting go would have felt relieving. That is not failure. That is costly strength. Your emptiness formed because you did not abandon your responsibilities. You did not abandon your values. You did not abandon life when it disappointed you. You adapted. You endured. You survived. And now your soul is asking for something different. It is asking to be restored, not pushed harder. This emptiness is not a dead end. It is a signal flare. It is your inner world saying that what sustained you before is no longer enough. He is calling for replenishment, for truth, for gentleness. He is not accusing you. He is inviting you. I want you to stop seeing this emptiness as a flaw. See it as evidence of a long journey. See it as proof that you have been strong for a long time. See it as a sign that you have reached this place where strength must be met with care. Nothing about this disqualifies you. Nothing about this disappoints me. I am not stepping in now because you failed. I am stepping in because you endured long enough. I am stepping in because you do not have to survive this next season the way you survived the last one. You do not need to apologize for feeling empty. You do not need to hide it. You do not need to rush past it. This emptiness is not something to be punished. It is something to be understood and healed. You were strong when it was necessary. Now you are allowed to be restored. You were resilient when it was required. Now you are allowed to be filled. The emptiness formed because you gave and gave and gave. And what has been given can be returned. Let this understanding lift the shame you have been carrying. You are not behind. You are not broken. You are not failing at life. You are tired from carrying life for too long without rest. I am here now to change that. Not by demanding more from you, but by giving to you what has been missing. This emptiness does not define you. It marks the moment when endurance gives way to restoration. Stay with me here. Let this truth settle gently. You do not need to defend yourself. You do not need to prove anything. You have been strong enough. Now let yourself be filled. My child, I want to honor you now. Not in a loud way, not in a way that puts you on display, but in a deep and steady way that reaches the places where you have wondered if anyone truly noticed. I have seen your endurance. I have watched you keep going when stopping would have felt easier. I have noticed every unseen effort, every quiet decision to stand again, every moment when you chose strength even though no one applauded you for it. There were days when your endurance looked ordinary from the outside. You woke up, you showed up. Sud, you handled what needed to be handled. Others may have thought it was nothing special. They did not see the effort it took just to begin the day. They did not feel the weight you carried in your chest or the tiredness behind your eyes. But I saw it all. I saw the courage it took to move forward when you would have preferred to hide or rest. I saw the tears you wiped away quickly so no one would ask questions you were not ready to answer. I saw the tears that never fell, because you had learned how to hold them back. I saw the moments when your throat tightened and you took a breath and continued anyway. Those moments mattered. They were not small. They were acts of quiet strength. I saw the nights when your mind would not rest, when thoughts circled and questions returned without answers. I saw how you lay still, trying not to disturb anyone, trying to calm yourself, trying to make peace with uncertainty. I was there in that quiet. I was close to you, even when you felt alone. I saw the choices you made when no one was watching. The moments you chose kindness when bitterness would have been understandable. The moments you chose integrity when it cost you comfort. The moments you chose patience when frustration was justified. Those choices were not easy for you. They required effort, restraint, and trust. I noticed everyone. I saw you carry responsibility that was heavier than you expected. You did not always choose that responsibility, but you accepted it because someone had to. You became dependable because the situation demanded it. You became strong because others leaned on you. That strength was not effortless. It came at a cost, and I honor you for paying it when you had no other choice. I saw the times you wanted to speak but stayed quiet. Not because you had nothing to say, but because you were trying to keep peace, trying to be understanding, trying to avoid making things worse. That restraint took discipline and took wisdom. It took emotional strength. I noticed it, even when others did not. I saw you adjust your expectations to protect your heart. You learned how to hope carefully. You learned how to walk without expecting too much. That was not because you lacked faith. It was because you had been hurt before, and you were trying to survive. I understand that. I honor the way you learned to keep going without losing yourself completely. I saw the moments you felt invisible, the times you wondered if your efforts mattered at all, the days when it felt like no one truly understood what you were carrying. I was there watching closely, holding what you could not put down. You were never invisible to me. Comment, Amen. My miracle is near. If you feel a breakthrough stirring in your spirit, and share this